wouldn't say that it was just me and Officer Howard, but I'm telling you what I saw.
No video on Sycamore Drive.
Not that I remember, so no.
Okay. Did you see that white truck there?
No, sir, I didn't see that white vehicle.
I want you to look at Officer Howard's car right there. Officer Howard's car had the blue lights on when this happened. When this happened.
I do not remember his blue lights being on, sir, no.
Did Officer Howard's car have an audio and video camera?
His old Crown Victoria model vehicle, yes, sir, I believe it did.
Did you do a live interview with Agent Trent Hilsman on March 22nd, 2011? Howard's car had an audio and video camera?
I'm sure I did an interview, yes, sir. I do remember him having that type of equipment on his car on that particular model, yes, sir.
Okay. You agree? Did you look at the audio and video with the camera on when Officer Howard aid? Was there camera on his car?
I can't tell you if it was on or not, sir. I quite honestly was not looking inside of the car.
Okay. Now you said you heard some radio traffic about also being shot.
Yes, sir, I heard him via the radio central on shot.
Was Officer Christian said he was shot? Was it Tony Howard? Who said he was shot?
I thought at the time, I heard Officer Howard. I thought it was Howard. I thought it was Howard saying he was shot.
Okay. Will you agree that Officer Christian's voice is different from Tony Howard's voice?
It is.
So, during your interview with Mr. Trent Hilsman, is the truth that you told Mr. Hilsman that you heard Officer Howard radio shots fired?
At the interview,
yes, sir.
I told Hilsman I thought Officer Howard said I was shot.
So you didn't say Officer Buddy Christian said he was shot. You said Officer Howard. You know correct?
Because I thought it was Officer Howard, yes, sir.
So you never did mention anywhere about Officer Christian talking about he was being shot. And what did he say?
I heard Central on shot. I thought it was Officer Howard because I did not see Officer Christian in the area.
Did you hear Officer Christian say, "I've been shot"? Oh my God! Did you hear Officer Christian say that?
I heard Central on shot over the radio. I did not see Officer Christian in the area. I thought it was Officer Howard.
So I think you misunderstood the question. I asked you, did you hear Officer Christian come on the radio under pressure after you heard the shots at Officer Christian's car? Did you hear Officer Christian get on their radio and say, "Oh my God, I've been shot. Oh my God"? Did you hear him say that?
I cannot honestly sit here and say it was Officer Christian. I heard a voice on the radio, it was Central on shot. I thought it was Officer Howard.
But you told Trent Hills during that interview with Tony Howard, didn't you?
I did.
You had a radio on you too that day, didn't you?
I did.
You know your brother-in-law boy too, don't you?
I do.
Now, these officers on the scene right here. You told them. Who was this white guy on the scene with y'all? With the cap on right there. The white guy.
I have no idea who that is, sir.
I'm going to show you so you get a better understanding of it. Okay, now I want you to look at this. Right here, you see this? Is that you? You see right here? That's you right there, and that's off the kitchen right there, and then off the house on the ground, you got a white guy there with a ball cap on. Will you agree with that, sir?
I see that on the screen, yes.
I want you, could you explain that picture right there? Explain the characters in that picture, if you would.
That's Officer Kitchen going to the trunk of his vehicle, retrieving a first aid kit. I'm approaching Officer Howard. He's laying face down on the ground.
So, when you agree that there's a crime scene at this time, so police officers been shot, will you agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Now, who is this white male with no police uniform on? Y'all didn't just walk right there with y'all? at the crime scene?
Again, sir, I have no idea who that is.
I want you to look at it. Off the kitchen light blinking on that car.
Yes, sir.
So his lights are on.
Yes.
Who is this black guy, or whatever he is, right here, pointing right here? Did you know him?
No, sir. I can only guess. These are civilians. I don't know who they are, sir. They're not officers.
So you didn't talk to that guy?
No, sir. As you can see, I'm rendering aid to Tony while he's on the ground.
I don't know. Who is this guy? Is this the guy that you saw in the red SUV, Suburban coming up? Right there.
Yeah.
Is that the black male that you got at that red SUV?
Yes, sir.
When you agree that's Matthew Hood, did you identify him as Matthew Hood?
I did not identify him. I did not recognize him at the time as being your brother Matthew.
Okay. But that's the guy who was in that red SUV, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Follow the car. Have you learned that there's all spiritual cars?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was again, you didn't see that car on Sycamore Drive?
No, sir.
What's the name of these apartments right here? Right here on the tab.
Regency Park, I believe.
Regency Park.
Mm-hmm.
When you agree that Regency Park is further down the street than River on Edge apartment?
Yes, it is.
When you agree that River Edge apartment is closer to Cascade than Regency Park?
Yes, River's Edge is closer. Yes, sir. It's across the street from me.
Okay, so River Edge is closer than Regency Park is?
Yes, sir.
Maybe what we got, 25 to 50 yards distance where you think somewhere around there, right? Maybe 40?
Possibly, yes, sir.
I backed up a little bit for you, so I don't want to confuse you, sir. Okay. Now, River Edge is right across the street from this scene right here. Now, I want you to look at this car as it moves and tell us how many yards do you think that this Regency Park is from right here, this Cascade. Just watching the car go. Stop. Okay, how many yards you think that is from Cascade to right there?
If I had to guess, probably more so lines, maybe 60 yards.
I agree. Okay. Good. We can cut like that, huh?
Lights.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I want you fast. You hit the lights, I want to show you the picture right there. I'm sorry, y'all. You're going to have to switch it back over. Okay, I see that. That's it. Mr. Kitchen, I'd like you to look at state decision. Mr. Johnson, I'd like you to look at state decision 149. Long day, Judge, I'm sorry. Okay, come on. We look at it now, make sure. Mr. Jones, state exhibit 151. I'd like to talk to you about this. Will you agree that's off the house? Patrol car behind that red extra Suburban?
Yes, sir, I would agree.
Okay. Now, looking at that picture, it's also Howard Park, according to the Athens Clark County Police Department Highway Traffic Stop Protocol.
No, sir, I don't agree with the position of that car. If he was to be the lead car initiating a traffic stop, he would be a felony traffic stop. He would be more behind the vehicle.
What?
Here he's at an angle.
Okay, would you park your car like that during a felony traffic stop? Would you do it?
If I'm initiating the stop,
Yes, sir. Would you park?
no, sir. I'll be more behind the car.
So you want to stop your car right there when Mr. Howard stopped here? That's what you telling us?
No, sir, I would not stop my car there, no, sir. If I was initiating a felony traffic stop.
Why wouldn't you have to stop? Why wouldn't you have stopped your car and parked like Mr. Howard parked there right now?
Based on my training, I've been trained to stop behind the vehicle, kind of towards the left a little bit, giving the engine block as cover.
You do that to protect yourself from somebody might be shooting you, some people in the car for cover. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
You also do that for the public and the citizen safety too. Is that right, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Mr. Kitchen.
Officer Johnson, sir.
I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, sir. How long did it take for you to see me engage with Officer Howard? You said y'all parted wait. How long did that take?
When we parted ways from Sycamore Drive, driving around the back of the complex, I had to guess maybe a minute or so. I mean, it wasn't very long. It's hard for me to give you an exact amount of time.
Just give us what you
By the estimate, probably a minute or two.
It ain't long, is it?
No, sir, it's not.
Okay. I'm asking, did you ever hear Officer Howard come on his radio and say, hey, I got a video on this carjacking suspect, Jack the Good, this carjacking suspect? Did you hear him say that?
No, sir, I did not.
What do you think about that right now?
That's a proper question about what he thinks about that. Well, that is
I think it is relevant here because we're talking about attacking here. I don't know. Thank you, sir.
Could you repeat your question, please?
What do you think about it? Officer Howard now reported that he pulling over this carjacking suspect. What do you think about that right now, sir?
I think if he had any idea, truly any idea that James Wood would be in the vehicle, he would have behaved differently. He wouldn't have parked his vehicle there. He wouldn't have been in that position.
How would you feel if Officer Howard grabbed me and he didn't radio that he saw me and he grabbed me before he called for backup? What do you think about that, sir?
As a police officer, I would think that would not be a very safe move to do.
Appreciate your honesty. Thank you for what's that. I'm sorry for the comment because you told me I don't do it. I'm sorry. I called you. I'm sorry. Mr. Johnson, you said you saw me get out that vehicle and walk away from it. Did I walk or did I run?
My recollection, sir, you appear to be walking towards the vehicle.
Okay, now you saw that.
And you were out of the vehicle heading towards Officer Howard's car.
Did you see Officer Howard come through his one and grab me?
I did not see that.
I thought you testified you were looking at it. Or you saw me get out and you had a clear look at me walk up to that vehicle.
I testified I saw you walk towards the vehicle and also testified I looked away looking for Kelly. I did not keep eyes on you as you walked towards Officer Howard's car. I looked back towards Officer Howard's car.
Okay. During your interview with Agent Trent Hill, did you tell Mr. Trent Hill that you saw the individual reaching into the patrol car and you thought you heard him? Did you tell him that you thought you seen him reaching there? Did you tell Agent Hills that, sir?
I did. I thought you reached into the car, yes.
I thought you said you were looking at a Cadillac.
I was looking for a Cadillac, and I looked back towards Officer Howard's car. I was looking around for a suspected vehicle, saw what was not the suspected vehicle, and still was looking around. I did not pay full attention to Officer Howard's car until I looked back towards you turning.
Okay, what I'm trying to get clear is, if you're looking around and you said you lost sight of me because you're looking at a Cadillac. If you lost sight of me and you looking at a Cadillac, how did you tell Mr. Trent Hughes that you saw me reach into an off-highway police car?
I saw you reach it appeared to me that you were reaching away from Officer Howard's car.
Is it that you thought you seen me reach, or did Officer Howard come through that car when he grabbed me? Which one it was?
I didn't see Officer Howard reach at you at all through his car.
So you did.
I didn't.
If you had to say, but you thought you saw me reach in there, but you saw him reaching there.
I saw you, what appeared to me in reaching motion as you were turning away.
Okay. Now, if you had saw Officer Howard come through that car window and grab me, would you report it to the supervisor? Would you tell the jury that you saw that?
I would have honestly tell the jury I saw that.
Understood.
Yes, sir.
The gun holster on that gun, I want to talk to you about that. Right. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to leave this. We can return. Now, Mr. Jones. Did Officer Howard have a gun on him that day?
Yes, sir.
There's the little gun, the holster, the gun is in a holster or something called a hood or something like that?
Yes, sir. It's in a holster on the server side that you shoot with. In his case, he's right-handed, so so our duty weapons on our right side.
Gun. If I may, can I use Walter Johnson? I couldn't use him in the time. Okay. Well, that hood on the gun, don't you got something to keep that gun down in there?
Well, there's a hood over the top part. Let's say this is the rear sight, back of the gun. There's a hood that wraps around it that's connected to the rest of the holster. There's one button on the current holster that we have, one button you press, it releases the hood, you rock your firearm back, to give it a clear draw out of the holster.
Okay. If the hood dropped on the gun, what that mean?
If the hood is already dropped on a gun, that means the officer would need to rock it back to get a clear draw.
So if the hood back on the hood dropped, and that gun in fire position?
No, once you pull it out, it's ready to go. I mean, you can probably fire it when it's in the holster, that's not safe, but once you get it out, then you're ready to engage.
Okay, what I'm trying to figure out is the hood, the one that keep it in the holster so it won't come out?
No, there's a locking mechanism inside the holster.
Okay, I think you stated to Mr. Hill that Tony had his hood dropped on his gun or something. I think it's in here. I can read and find it, but could you tell us about that?
I don't remember telling that. If you ask him about his gun belt, maybe he did have it unsnapped. I don't know, guess here. I don't know.
Did you hear Officer Howard get any verbal commands like hands up anything?
No, sir.
You didn't hear him say hands up?
No, sir. I was too far away to hear about it.
Okay. So you don't recall telling Mr. Hill anything about the hood officer was down?
No, sir.
Tell us, I'm almost finished with you. Can I have a brief second? Review this to see it. Okay. Do you recall telling Agent Hillsman that as he approached Officer Howard, you know that Officer Howard's gun was in the holster, but the hood on the holster had been dropped. Could you explain, do you recall telling Agent Hillsman that?
I honestly don't recall telling him that. I honestly don't recall that, sir.
But you did have an interview with him, live interview, correct?
I did. Yes, I did.
I mean, young, can I play a portion of the interview? I already had time marked. I didn't go straight to it, what he said.
Well, yes.
I'll be brief on that. Before I do this, sir, could you have done it and you forgot you got it?
Could I have made that statement?
Could you have made that statement but forgot you got it?
Yes.
Okay. I'll be good. Now look, Mr. Kitchen. I mean Johnson, I'm sorry. Now, what do you mean when you told Agent Hillsman that the gun was in the holster, but the hood on the holster had been dropped? What do you mean by that?
Again, this is the turning my hand like this simulates the backside of the weapon holster. You engage a button on the side, it drops back.
So Officer Howard, hood was dropped. If a hood is dropped, what do that mean?
That means that the officer was about to draw his weapon or take his weapon out of the holster.
So you telling the jury right now that when Officer Howard had that hood dropped, so that means he was ready to draw that weapon?
Possibly if he had it dropped, yes sir.
So when you drop that hood, that means you get to pull that weapon out. Is that correct?
Yes sir. I mean, I dropped my hood when I at home, for example, taking out my gun belt, securing my weapon. I have to drop my hood to take it out of his holster.
Okay. But before you remove a gun from a holster, that hood has to be dropped, right? That means you're ready to pull it out.
Yes sir.
And you stated that Officer Howard hood was dropped when he got out that car. You never read it.
In that interview, I said it. I don't remember, but
He said it.
if I said it, I said it.
I didn't want to say it, but I'm trying to say you too.
Okay.
No further questions, sir.
Officer Johnson, you kind of came up to Officer Howard at that point. At what point did you notice his gun belt and his gun?
I know
Immediately or after the officers arrived in that process?
Well, when I got to him, I mean, he was in uniform, gun belt on, laying face down on the ground, so I observed his gun belt immediately.
And at that time, the gun was in the holster?
As far as I know, yes, sir, it was in the holster. It wasn't out, it was in the holster.
Yes. Thank you.
Brief. You said you came up on him, you the first one on him, right?
Yes,
You got out that little bit.
yes, sir.
That means that he could have pulled it out when he got ready. Is that correct?
If he was able to,
Yeah.
possibly yes. If he was able to.
No further questions, sir.
Did you excuse?
Yes, Your Honor. Please.
Any objection?
No, sir.
You're excused.
Thank you.
How long are you serving that next witness?
Not too terribly long as far as my direct.
Call.
Matt Ring. Raise your right hand, please. You silence with the testimony about to give the court in this matter. State versus Jamie Donnell Hood will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, help you God.
Yes, sir, I do.
Have a seat, please. Will you state your name for the jury, please?
David Matthew Ring.
And are you employed, sir?
Yes, sir.
Where are you employed?
With the Athens Clark County Police Department
And how long have you been with them?
since January of 2005.
What is your current rank and responsibilities and assignments?
I'm a sergeant. I'm attached to the Family Protection Center. I currently supervise the Sexual Assault and Crimes Against Children unit.
And how long have you been in that particular position, sir?
Since about 2.5 years now.
And prior to that, where did you work?
I was working in West Side Precinct, assigned to the 210 unit.
In uniform patrol?
Yes, sir.
And have you been in uniform patrol before that in different shifts and different locations?
Yes, sir, I have.
So altogether, from the time you came into the department in 2005 until you made sergeant and were moved to family protection, were you in uniform patrol?
Yes, sir.
And did you work primarily on the east side?
Yes, sir, I
In
did.
uniform patrol, did you have any other assignments at all in addition to being working east side of uniform patrol?
Once I transferred special operations on the east side, they divided the unit, and I was transferred to the west side special operations unit as a housing officer, work housing authority and other areas.
And when were you transferred to that particular assignment?
I want to say it was in 2010, but I'm not positive on it. It was early 10, I think, maybe later than that.
And in March of 2011, was that your assignment, or did you have some other assignment?
I was assigned to the west side unit, special operations unit at that time. Yes, sir.
Now, prior to working with Athens Clark County PD, what did you do, sir?
I worked for the Jackson County Sheriff's Office for about 6 months, and prior to that, I was in the United States Navy for 6 years.
And when were you in the United States Navy, from what year to what year?
From 1998 till July of 2004.
And where did you grow up, sir?
I grew up in between Madison and Jackson counties.
What high school did you go to?
Jackson County Comprehensive.
When did you graduate?
1998.
And is that when you went in the Navy directly out of high school, pretty
Yes, sir,
much?
I did.
And are you married, sir?
Yes, sir.
And you and your wife have any children at all?
We have one child, yes.
Let me direct your attention back to March 22nd, 2011. Were you on duty working with Special Operations at that particular time, sir?
Yes, sir, it was.
And during that time, can you tell the jury a little bit more about your responsibilities in Special Operations on that particular day and what your assignment was?
Part of my duties, or my main duty at Special Operations, I was assigned as a housing officer. Worked with the Housing Authority, police neighborhoods, for all over Athens, but my responsibility was the west side of Village Avenue. I took care of neighborhoods, Rock Springs, Broad Acres, Jack Harwell's homes by Polo Street, and many outlying communities. I also supported other uniform patrol units as well as the drug task force for different areas when they needed specialized patrol capability. That's what I did.
Now, what shift on that day did you work?
I believe that day I was working 10 to 8.
10 a.m. in the morning till 8 p.m. in the evening?
Yes, sir.
And at some point around or shortly before 1 or a little after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, did you hear some call go out about an incident that occurred on the east side that caused you to go to Sycamore Drive eventually?
Yes, sir. I scanned my radio, meaning that our radio traffic is divided east and west. I scanned east and west. I'd overheard some radio traffic about east side having an incident involving a kidnapping. They had named a suspect, and that his possible current address was over by Sycamore Drive off of Broad Street.
And who was that suspect?
Jamie Donnell Hood.
And after hearing that particular call, what did you do?
I went towards the area of Sycamore Drive to try and locate the vehicle that was described. I believe it was a tan in color Cadillac. As I approached the area, I ran into SPO Howard. He said he'd already searched the area and had no contact with Cadillac.
And where was it that you ran into him in that area, sir?
He was, there's a apartment complex sign down at the end of Sycamore Drive on the left as you go down. It's off the road enough to where SPO Howard could get off the road in his car completely out of the roadway and sit. He was sitting up on the grass. As I came down the intersection, I saw him sitting there, and I pulled up window to window and talked with him just to see if he'd seen anything coming and going and whatnot.
So he was stopped on the side of the road?
Yes, sir.
And was he in the direction of heading out Sycamore toward Broad?
Yes, sir.
At the time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as you're coming down Sycamore, you would have been on the left?
Yes, sir.
And are you familiar with where the apartments Cascades on the river are located?
Yes, sir.
And the first entrance and the second entrance to that complex?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with the complex further down on the left called Timber Chase?
Yes, sir, I am.
Where was he parked in relation to those two entrances?
He was parked below the Cascades on the Timber Chase side, or down it by Timber Chase, so he could see up the roadway. So any vehicles coming down Sycamore Drive, he would have had seen coming before they got down to the bottom of the drive. Timber Chase being on the left, and I think the Regency's on the right.
And did you speak to him at all at that time?
Yes, sir, I did. I talked to him. He said he hadn't seen anything. Told him we were fixing to go eat, and if he saw something, to call us, because we were going to be close, and that was the reason we chose to eat close, is so if something happened in that neighborhood, we could respond quickly. We were going to go eat at the Yurt Pie on Alps Road, so we were less than a mile away. It was our goal.
And did you wind up turning around and going out Sycamore headed toward Yurt Pie?
Yes, sir, I did. Prior to leaving, when I was talking to him, I was sitting on the road and SPO Christian passed by me, and I thought he was doing the same thing, didn't think much about it. I waved at him, he waved back, and then I went turned around, and me and SPO Moss headed over towards Alps, back out Sycamore, because it's a dead-end road.
And you said that basically that you saw Officer Christian as you were speaking to Officer Howard?
Yes, sir. We just waved, acknowledged each other pretty much, because I didn't know it, but he was apparently going to another call. I found out later.
And he was headed down Sycamore into Sycamore, heading in the direction of Regency Park and Timber Chase and so forth?
Yes, he's going down towards the bottom. He was passing us.
Okay. And when you were speaking to Officer Howard, if he was parked on the left-hand side of the road, headed out, and you were headed in at that point,
Mm-hmm.
were y'all kind of driver to driver close to each other at that point?
Me and SPO Howard were driver to driver, and I was actually sitting on the wrong side of the road so I could talk to Tony. And the SPO Christian came down beside me on the right side.
In
the proper lane of travel.
And you waved at him and he waved back at you?
Yes, sir. We acknowledged each other.
And can you tell whether he was on the phone or not, or anything like that at that point?
I did not see him on the phone. He just looked like he was going to call. I remember his windows were up. But that was about it.
And so basically, you wound up leaving and going to your pie?
Yes, sir, I did.
And was that with Officer Moss?
Yes, and I was meeting another officer over there as well.
Who was that other officer, do you recall?
SPO Sprague. He was assigned to the Baxter Street detail. He worked Baxter Street alone at that time.
And as y'all were inside that your pie, tell us what happened as you were and what you were doing.
We got parked and we walked into the ear pie and we were standing in line. We hadn't even, I don't think we told them what dough we wanted to get. And as we stood there, we heard radio traffic come over, and I caught the tail end of it because it was loud, it was bustling, it was a lot of people in there ordering lunch. And you could hear somebody come over the radio, and it was a very animated, excited voice. You could understand it, so it wasn't quite screaming, but it was loud. And you could tell they were upset that something to the effect of I've been shot or somebody's been shot. And at first it clicked, but me and SPO Moss just looked at each other in like disbelief, like, what was that? And then we heard a little bit more radio traffic, which I don't know what it was. And we both knew exactly where it was and where we were going, and we took off as fast as we could get back to Sycamore Drive, Cameron Chase area.
Y'all were in separate patrol cars?
Yes, sir.
And did y'all head back over that way?
Yes, sir.
And did you actually go down Sycamore off Broad and head in the direction of where that was?
Yes, sir.
And as you got to that location, can you describe what you saw at that point, who you saw, and then what you did?
As we came down the hill, SPO Kitchen's car was like sitting in the middle of the road. It was a little bit, I remember it was a little bit catty in the corner. SPO Moss pulled up and got out. And when he got out, I could see, as he got out, I was coming too, because I had just a little bit of delay because I had to wait for a car to pass before I would turn on Sycamore. But as he passed, as he got stopped, I got out and he passed up through his door. I looked down, or I looked and saw SPO Howard, what I found to be SPO Howard, laying on the ground face first. And I got out, ran up to him to see what was going on. And Jared Johnson, SPO Johnson, was, he just had this sheer look of terror. His face was just like devoid. Kitchen was trying to get his medical stuff out of the car, and it was a lot of medical supplies and stuff he had in a Tupperware container. And he was trying to render first aid. And as all that was going on, SPO Moss is talking to people, and when I say people, I don't know who he's talking to, but you can see somebody laying on the ground who I recognize as Matthew Hood. And he was talking and focusing on him, and I realized nobody had seen security, and that was a real deal for us, because everybody's devoted to the injured, and nobody could watch out. And I didn't know who had done the shooting. I didn't know where it came from at that time. I knew nothing about it. I had to put two and two together as far as Hood being on the ground and us being over there originally for Hood. But I started doing, 360 security, basically making sure everybody's okay. Anybody coming towards us were either unarmed or they were going to get put down at gunpoint until I figured out who they were. And I saw a guy coming up at that time, and he was a younger white guy, had a beard and hat, and he came up. He told me that there was nothing he could do for the other officer or something like that. And at that time, I didn't even know there was another officer involved. So I leave where we're at, and I run down to the next car, who I figured out real quick was Buddy Christian. And when I got to him, the window was still up. It was shattered. There was about a softball-sized hole in it. You could still hear the glass cracking and falling out of the window. It was that fresh. It had been open, but obviously it was still falling out. But he was sitting in the driver's seat, and I went to check him for his vitals, but as I went to check him for his vitals and I went to reach for his carotid to check him and see if his heart was still beating, I noticed he had a bullet hole in his neck, and it wasn't bleeding. So it's hard to stop. And there was nothing I could do for him. And he was gone. And I put everything back together and realized that we had other things to do, and I called Central and told them we had 2 officers injured. I can't remember if I told them we had 1 dead or not, but we had 2 injured. And about that time, some other folks started arriving. I pressed out while I went back to SPO Moss and told them what I found, and we locked that area down, and other folks were arriving and whatnot. And ultimately, we were told to take up perimeter positions further out because we'd been told that the suspect had run towards Timber Chase down further past us. Because where I stopped and found everything was up the Cascades. It was just the next complex towards Providence, uphill further. He run downhill and they had Timber Chase. But I pushed out with SPO Moss ultimately with my rifle and started securing the complex. So if anybody came back, I could deal with them. So that's pretty much it for that. I remember. Yes.
Did you hold that perimeter for very long, or at some point did it change?
Yeah, I held it for a while. When I say a while, it was several moments, several minutes. Other officers arrived and they took that up. While we were standing there, we'd been told of a car chase, or a car that passed by another officer. I think it's SPO Wright, Carry On Wright, over by Olympic or somewhere. And he couldn't get turned around on a really high rate of speed. A car come by, and it was the same car that had been given out as a carjacking victim's car from in the neighborhood, but it was over on the Coney Street side. So we put 2 and 2 together and figured the suspect had gone all the way through. And as all that panned out, they sent us. I doubled up with another SWAT guy who had gotten there, and we went to the area of Randy Road where we knew the Hood family had been raised and were from. We went over there and started looking for that car to try and find the suspect. So I can't say we were there for 20 minutes. We probably weren't there for 10 minutes before everybody got there and we were moving, but I don't remember specifically.
And when you said a minute ago to the Coney Street side, you mean on the other side of the Coney River where the carjacking may have occurred?
Yes, sir. It was in the Oconee County side of the river. It was like Timber Chase goes down, you got the Coney River right from behind it. If you go through the river, there's a real steep hill. There's a neighborhood that comes off Bridge Parkway, and it's got a couple of streets that run in there. And somewhere on one of those streets, I can't remember what street it was, there was a carjacking that had occurred in that neighborhood.
And so following that, you went over to the Ranch Road area?
Yes, sir. We went looking for that vehicle that had been carjacked in the hopes of finding the suspect.
And at some point later that day, was that car located?
Yes, sir. It was located. It was, I believe it was off Airport Road. You go down, and on your right, there was a cutoff that goes into the woods. It looks like an old driveway. There's an old abandoned house and some other abandoned old well houses and stuff. But it was right off that road into that cutoff, sitting on the side of the road.
And was that far from Ranch Road?
No, it was a couple miles at the most.
And the rest of the week, what action did you take and participate in?
I was, for the rest of the week, I was attached to the tactical units that were assigned to secure locations, clear different instant locations, conduct ground searches, search woods. We searched everywhere that you can imagine, all over the east side of Athens. Every tip we get, either my team or another team would press out and search it. So that's what I was doing, was pressing out, whenever we got tips and searching, securing places and searching them, making sure the suspect wasn't there.
And on March 25th, 2011, that Friday, did y'all become aware that Lieutenant Jamie Hood was off Bowley Drive in a subdivision called Creekstone?
Yes, sir. We were directed over there by Sergeant McGee due to some tip. I didn't know where the tip originally originated from, but we were sent over there. In that vicinity, we didn't know where specifically to go yet. And we were staged, I think, in the Granger parking lot originally as we headed that way. And then we went up towards Bowley Drive because we'd gotten some further information. We were going to set up a roadblock on Bowley Drive, and anybody coming out, we were going to stop and see if we could develop some further intel for. The first car that came to us, the guy came up, I don't remember his name, but he looked shell-shocked. He was just like, he was like, oh crap, I haven't got any more than I can handle here. And he came up, and I originally thought it was because of us, but it wasn't because of us. He was actually pretty glad to see us. And I found out that he had just left the incident location, or the location that Jamie Hood was in, or knew exactly where he was at. And I handed him off to one of the investigators or other SWAT guys to figure out what that exact incident location was, and get other intelligence. And I commenced to watching the road again in case the suspect came down. I later found that he had supposedly escaped or something like that. And that's what concerned me, that somebody was going to come looking for him.
Does the name Terrence Lumpkin ring a bell?
It does. I remember his face, light-skinned black male, had short dreads. He was driving a black, either Monte Carlo or Cutlass car. Would have been the vehicle, I believe.
Thank you, sir.
Get straight exhibit 174. Get started.
Yes, sir. I got half of them right here. They talk a little loud.
Afternoon, Mr. Rain.
Howdy.
You stated that y'all heard a call over the radio about a carjacking or something on the east side, sir.
Yes, sir. I've overheard some scan traffic.
Did Jamie Hood's name come up as a suspect on that, sir?
Somewhere in that, yes. But now I don't remember if that was officers talking or if that was the tag assigned to the vehicle that had reportedly dumped him out, or I don't remember how that was developed. I just remember that was the name that came up.
Okay. You said you went to Sycamore Drive looking for a carjacking suspect, sir?
Yes, sir.
Did my name come up in there, sir?
Yes, sir. That was the reason I went over there.
That before you went to the restaurant, sir?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like you to follow this call. Go ahead, Sycamore Drive, sir. Now, I want you to tell me when you saw Officer Howard park at. You say he parked on the side of the road or something, more or something. I'd like you to tell us, just tell me the pause where he was. He was parked on that street, this?
I believe so, yes.
Let me see that. Get you there. So we first saw him, he
He was past that downhill, I believe.
Okay. How about right around here? Where you see it, man? Oh, we got conversation at the dead end. The dead end right down here, the road end right there. So what we would have been?
If you see where that video's showing right there, I think, right, you see that telephone pole on the left-hand side of the road, you see that sign on the left-hand side of the road right beside the telephone pole?
We're going that way, sir. That's conversation.
Yes, sir.
So he was right along in here?
I believe he was in that, in some of that grass on the left-hand side.
Talking about right here?
It may have been there, it may have been, I think there's two signs if I remember right, I'm not positive.
But somewhat, was he on this side of the road, or was he, look at the arrow, this side of the road?
He was on the left-hand side of the road.
Like over here?
No, sir, that's
Over here on the grass, like park?
yes, he was out of the roadway completely if I remember right.
Okay. Now, when you seen Officer Howard, how many other police cars did you see?
I remember seeing, what, can you clarify when? I mean,
Yeah, when you were there with Officer Howard, did you see any other officer
before the shooting or after the shooting?
before the shoot, sir?
Okay. When I came down, I remember seeing Tony on the left, it's me. I think Moss was with me or in the neighborhood, and we ran into each other, and we're going to go. Buddy came by us on the right. I can't remember if I saw Jerry Johnson's car or not, SPO Johnson's car or not, but I know he was in the area.
So there, SBO Jerry Johnson,
Yes.
you saw him over there. In the area.
I knew he was in the area. I didn't see him. I just knew he was in the area.
Right there.
Yeah.
So, did you write your written report with the sir? I mean, did you do a written report?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did I ask you to go with the police, sir?
Yes, sir.
I see you got in your written report in the first paragraph, 4 million armed with handgun and sawed-off shotgun.
I believe that was radio traffic given, yes.
So you heard over the radio that the victim of all officers used caution because the victim was advising that the suspect were armed with several handguns and shotguns. Is that correct, sir?
Over the radio, I believe the suspects were expected to be armed, yes.
The dispatch also told all units to use caution. Is that correct, sir?
I can't remember that, but it's not, it wouldn't be unheard of. I mean,
So you said you talked to Officer Howard when he had his car right there in the grass in this area. You said you talked to him right there.
mm-hmm.
What y'all talking about?
I remember asking him, was anybody there? Or had he seen it and telling him while I was there? He said, I already checked it, the car's not there. I believe when I pulled up, he was typing on something, but I'm not sure. Told him we were going to go get something to eat. Told him if he saw the car to get us back over there soon because we were going to be close. Based on the type of reason we were there, suspects armed with handguns, shotguns. I didn't want him, if he could, to get out with suspects by himself. I wanted to be able to back him up, be close. And then told him we was going to go eat. Call me if he ran in the suspect or in the vehicle.
Why didn't you want Officer Howard to encounter that suspect by himself?
I wouldn't want any officer to encounter any suspect that's potentially armed by themselves if they knew it to be the suspect. I mean, we're not trying to scare everybody, but if the suspect is coming down the road, then I would expect him to call me for backup, especially with 4 subjects armed being the suspect we're looking for.
Now, Mr. Green, you said while y'all were right there, y'all seen Officer Fisher come in and you spoke to him, but you please tell the jury about that.
I didn't speak, no, I waved at him. He was coming down, and I assumed he was going to do the same thing we were doing. I hadn't heard the traffic come out about the call being over there because I was talking to SB Howard. And Tony was sitting on the left in the grass, and I was sitting against the flow of traffic in the In the lane we're sitting in right now, where that car's parked on the right, would have been how SPO Christian passed me on the right.
So, if he had the little ladies, did y'all give him a little red lady?
This, okay.
Can you please turn it on, sir? Make it come on the screen. You want the ladies, or you explain what you want to explain?
SPO Howard would have been on this side of the road.
Okay.
I would have come down in this direction, like where that car's facing this way.
Okay.
We were stopped window to window, me and SPO Howard, and then the other one would have come down right here on the right-hand side of the road. And he slowed down briefly, waved us. He didn't stop or anything. He just slowed down, waved, and we said,
So my arrow right here, this Officer Christian coming down this way. So Officer Christian is moving down this way, is what you're telling us?
Yes, sir.
And you was walking just like this ball.
Down further, but
Okay.
in the same general area direction, yes.
Okay, so Officer Tyler's car, was he pointed over this way?
Yes, sir. He would have been out of the roadway in the grass, but yes.
Okay. So when Officer Christian came down through there, Officer Howard had to see if you did.
I can't speak on what Officer Howard saw or not. He would have had the opportunity to see him, but he was talking to me. I don't know if he paid any attention or not.
Okay. Is it safe to say that Officer Christian and you and Officer Howard was on Sycamore Drive at the same time?
Yes.
Okay, now you said Officer Christian was on a related call. What related call was on Sycamore Drive other than the carjacking suspect?
I don't remember what the call type was of the call that came out that he was coming down to deal with. I think it was even in Regency Park that he was going. I don't remember specifically, but I believe there was a call in Regency Park that was unrelated. I assumed originally he was coming down there to look for the car that you were said to be in. I later found out that he was coming to deal with a call down there. I didn't know what that call type was, but that was what I was told.
You were told that, sir.
I can't remember.
Okay, but I'm trying to back up a little bit. You said Regency Park, where Officer Christian was supposed to be called to, right?
I think that's the name. I'm not positive.
Okay.
I'd have to see.
Do you have anything to show that so we can be sure about that? Because I don't want us to make no assumption that we're not sure, sir.
Ask questions.
Okay. I'm sure. Will you agree this is Regency Park right now, sir?
I think that's the right complex. Yes. Yes.
So did you hear any radio traffic about Officer Christian supposed to be called at Regency Park right here in his apartment?
I didn't know. I was talking to SPO Howard. I assumed, like I said, he was coming down there to look for the car you were supposed to be in. I did not know that there was a call in Regency Park until after everything had transpired.
Okay, what call, could you tell us what that call was in Regency Park?
I don't know. I just knew there was a call. It kind of seemed like a moot point. After everything happened, I didn't ask. I kind of had a lot on my plate.
I understand. So, but before that police unit incident, you didn't know why Officer Christian was over that issue?
Didn't know for sure, no. I assumed he was looking for the car, like all the rest of us.
And before the police unit, did you hear any radio traffic pertaining to Sycamore Drive other than James Wilson and his carjacking suspect thing?
Not that I can remember.
Is it true that Officer Christian was on duty when that call went out by this carjacking suspect? He was on duty, right?
I assume so because he works day shift, but I can't say for sure because I don't work with him. I didn't work with him daily. I would see him in passing for different calls, but like I say, I was in special operations as a housing officer. I might see him in passing or back him up on a call, but I wouldn't see him at all times. It's just hit or miss whether I'd see him every day or not.
Is it possible that Officer Christian could have been looking for that carjacking suspect also? Is that possible?
You sure?
No further questions.
That's the judge.
Any key? Any objection? Judge, I have this ring on my witness list, so he can be on the by business. And I just like to use my call.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude the evidence today.